until 1492, when the Catholics took the last stronghold in Spain, which was Granada. And then what happens? Jewish people and the Muslim people banished, brutalized, killed, tortured, murdered, forcefully converted to Catholicism, right? So the point I'm making is, Joseph is picking on exceptional incidents that were condemned by the Muslims themselves before the Jewish people do it, right? And these were exceptional incidents. You cannot make them representative examples for the Muslim civilization. What you need to do is, you need to look at the overwhelming reality of the period, of that time, which was peaceful coexistence between the Jewish people and the Muslim people. Having said that, your second point was? Second point, we've got Palestinian laws, we've got Palestinian laws against?
The discriminate. You believe that Jews. I was saying that I believe that there is a difference in law because Israeli Arabs are under Israeli law, and if
you have many examples. I can write a book on this.
So your point was that there's a difference in law between how Palestinians who live in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank and Gaza are treated, and how Israeli Arabs.
You mentioned the word. You mentioned the word war. Because it's war. You said,
we're at war.
Yeah, you justified the differences in treatment by using the word war. I said, where is this war? We see one nuclear power with dangerous, deadly weapons, with immense political influence in the world, backed by Western powers. On top of that, money, billions of dollars coming in every year to support the military program against a poor people, against a brutalized, marginalized, imprisoned, concentration camped people. This is not a war. This is oppression, to say the least. Okay, this is destruction. This is genocide. This is a concentration camp. Okay, Gaza more so than the West Bank. Okay, for political reasons. Let me very quickly. So I'm gonna forget. You're gonna come. I'm gonna come back to you. Okay. So there is no war. When Zionists speak like this, they only make themselves a laughing stock. Okay, Joseph is a Zionist, self-confessing Zionist, and he's a Zionist, absolutely.
Most Jews in the world, over 90% of Jews are Zionists.
I don't accept that.
That's what you accept. That's what the polls say.
Wait. Okay, wait. Zionism. He just said. I'm going to add this caveat now because he made a point. He said most Jews are Zionists in the world. That's a lie. Okay, because most Jews were never Zionists before Zionism. Okay, what were the Jewish people before Zionism? Zionism only came about in the 19th century. Okay, it is a product of some extremist, selfish, faithless activists in Western Europe. They came up with atheistic. Some of them atheistic. Even today, some of them are atheists, right? I don't know why they claim ownership of the land using the Bible when they themselves don't believe in the Bible, right? Okay. Sorry?
Most Jews today are atheists. I'm in a minority.
Most Jews are atheists today?
Yeah,
so you're saying most atheistic Jews are Zionists? So you're making my point. So most Zionists, by that virtue, wait, this is very interesting. He said most Jews are Zionists. That's what he said. And now he said again that most Jews are atheists. So that means most Zionists are atheists by that virtue. By that virtue. So these are godless people. We're dealing with godless people here, right? So we are dealing with the godless people here, right? Is that what you're saying, Joseph?
I just added most Zionists today in the world are Christian.
No. You said most Jews are Zionists.
No, I said
forget the Christians.
Most Jews are Zionists.
I'm not talking about most Zionists.
Yeah, but you said most Zionists today.
No.
Adnan, keep up. I'm saying most Jews.
Let me clarify. Let me rephrase.
You said something
most Jewish Zionists.
Okay, yeah.
You're saying most Jewish Zionists are godless people.
I would say atheists are.
You're making my point. Thank you.
That's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph just made my point that these are godless people we're dealing with because they are so oppressive and destructive. They don't care about any rules, any ethical values, not because they're atheists. Not because they're atheists. So Joseph, just one.
Okay.
Joseph.
Guys. Let's say.
Let me finish my essay.
And then I got to be.
So Joseph just confirmed everything I have been trying to say for the last 45 minutes, right? Joseph has just said that Zionists are a godless people. That's what he said. Okay, most Zionists. He said most. Sorry, not most Zionists. Most Jewish Zionists. He's saying that. I'm not saying that, by the way. I'm not saying that. That's an anti-Semitic statement, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph is he's an anti-Semite. Okay.
Shame on you!
Okay.
Shame on you! We don't like anti-Semites.
No. You're not going to intimidate me.
No, he's not trying to intimidate you.
Listen.
Let me check. Please let me continue. So let me finish my essay. To be fair, so that's your point gone. Okay, war. This is not a war. This is brutality on steroids. Okay. What we see in Palestine is brutality on steroids. Next point. Next point was what? You made.
Adnan, can I come to the...
No. You can. Let me finish. You can come.
Why are you talking about that?
The cause of the 1948 war. And
Oh yes.
Before we go
Let
to
me.
Listen, Adnan. There is one thing here. I just wanted to add that you continue. Yeah? He said something interesting. Yeah, he said it's a war. So these things are kind of justified in war. That's what he said, yeah?
No, that's not what I said. I said it's a war.
It's a war. So it happens. These things happen in war, yeah? These things happen in war.
No, I said that it's a war, and that's.
I was going to make that very point.
I will tell you something, yeah? Did some militias, Jewish militias,
Zionist militias?
No.
We don't give them the title Jewish.
One second. No, I'm talking Jewish. In Germany, during the Second World War, then the Jews, they have established certain militias to attack the Nazis. They have done, yeah. So that means the Nazis.
That's a very good point.
The Nazis.
That's a very good point.
They could say it's a war. Those people are fighting.
These poor Jewish people in Germany are defending themselves because their children, their women, their men, their elderly are being sent to gas chambers by a destructive, racist, terrorist force.
And the Nazis' justification for this to say it's a war. They are fighting us, so we fight back. So it doesn't matter about the power.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah,
that's an excellent point. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And also you get the examples you gave, 1948 and what happened afterwards, all the fights. Again, I am going to ask you, why then? Why not? Why were the Muslims, despite the fact that they were a supreme military power for over 1,000 years, from Spain to China, Muslims are ruling from Spain to China with big dynasties, big sultans with big armies. Why did they wait for 1948? The Jewish people were a very small minority living within the Muslim lands. Why did the Muslims, if they wanted to destroy the Jewish people and kill them like the way you explained, right? Why did they wait for 1,000 years? Why were the Muslims appointing the Jewish people as prime ministers, as their private physicians, in some cases even advisors in war? You know, the Jewish people have been very intelligent, no doubt about that. Jewish people, you take your hats off them for them. Why? They have shown the world that a small group of people can be highly educated, highly influential, highly how can I put it? Highly powerful. By that virtue, very intelligent. For that reason, the Muslim sultans, Muslim kings kept them very close. These are able people. They can do certain. That's why, hence, the prime minister of Spain in the 10th century, who was the prime minister for the caliph, the most powerful caliph, the most powerful Umayyad caliph in the history of Muslim Spain, Abdurrahman III. Who was his prime minister? Hazda ibn Shaprut, a Jewish intellectual, a Jewish physician. Who was the prime minister in Granada in the 11th century, right? Samuel Hanagid, another Jewish intellectual, another Jewish statesman.
He's also the general of the military as well.
Yes, absolutely. So why were the Muslims waiting for 1948 to commit atrocities against the Jewish people? Surely something went wrong. And what was that? That was the occupation of a land given by the British colonial establishment to a people who did not own the land. The land was systematically taken by force from the poor people living in the land of Palestine and given to a people who did not own the land. This is where things went wrong. Okay, we have to do justice. We have to speak the truth. Okay,
Can I respond?
now of course.
No, come on, Aki, you spoke a long time.
No, you said he's just saying.
Let the sheikh and then you come.
You did your essay. He did his essay. My thesis now. Yeah, it's my.
went viral, a rabbi spat on his head.
I don't. I hope Rabbi apologizes to him. Why do you need to spit at him? Just talk to him. He's a Zionist. Does that mean we start to hate on him? I know Rabbi. I know he's talking about a rabbi.
But actually, he spit on me. I've been talking to him.
Listen.
And he didn't have an answer.
So let's continue, Sheikh. Yeah. Hold it.
No one's about me. It's a basic.
Okay. Listen, brother. We need to finish this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now listen. We need to understand few points. Yeah, which he mentioned. Now we need to understand the mistakes could happen, but we don't. For example, we don't judge the things through, for example, some minor mistakes, but we judge the things from the principles itself. So we say, going back to the principles of Islam, what's the principles of Islam is telling us as Muslims what we should do. Is Islam is commanding us to kill the Jews or to kill the Christian? Did Islam is telling us to do that? Is Islam is telling us as some, Christian, what do you call it? I will not say Christian. Those Islamophobes who comes, they say to us, "Oh, Islam is commanding you to kill non-Muslims, etc." Well, we know that our Prophet, peace be upon him, he had a treaty with the Jews when he came to Medina, peace be upon him, and they betrayed him. Not just only he had a treaty with them, they betrayed him in protection the same city that they have an agreement between them to protect the city. And what they have done, they betrayed him, and then they brought the pagans, and they said to the pagans, "You are more guided than those Muslims," and that's why they brought the pagan from their areas to enter the Medina. So even though, nevertheless, leave this on aside. Did Muslims went and killed every one of the Jews? No. The one who dealt with that situation, the one who was involved in that, when they betray, the one who dealt with the betrayal, those are the one who's been judged. The other one, no one harmed them because they abstain from this issue. That's one thing. So that's why when we see the Quran, what Quran is commanding us, that because of the Quran, the Jews flourished, as you mentioned. Because of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that's why the Jews, they flourished and they settled amongst the Muslims, and they found themselves preferring to stay amongst the Muslims. And you said the same rabbi that you said that he ran away from Andalusia. Where did he go? As you said, why he went to Muslim land where he knew they might accuse him with apostasy, and he might be executed for this. But yet he went and he did this. He took a risk and went there because he knew he will be judged with justice, not with injustice.
He didn't go to Europe.
Yeah, he didn't go to Europe. So that's one thing.
The Middle East.
The other thing about what he mentioned, and I will repeat this point. Yeah, when you say it's a conflict, it's war, is a conflict. So that's what the Israel is saying. This is a war, and this war between Israel and between those people who doesn't have even enough weapons. So it happens in Germany, the same people who were, by the way, and we condemn for all the things that happens to any innocent person who killed unlawfully. We condemn this, we're against that. And even what happened by the Nazis against the Jews, we don't accept this. We don't accept this. I don't accept it. I don't believe as any Muslim who deal with a decent Islam will accept.
In fact, one of the historians said that if the Muslims are not stopped by Charles Martel in the 8th century in advancing, when they were advancing into Europe, there would be 6 million more Jews alive today.
Take notes.
Yeah, definitely. That's what he said.
One of the historians, I don't know who said this, I don't remember, he said if Muslims are ruling Europe, the Holocaust would never take place.
And by the way, the Holocaust and all what happened, do you think the Nazis, they didn't justify it? They said it's a war. And then they said those Jews, they are fighting us. They are militias. They come and they are supported by Western countries. By the way, even British and France and all of these countries, they used to send them weapons to defend themselves, which is true. We agree with this. To defend yourself, you have the right to defend yourself against an oppressor, and that's what they have done. What the Nazis have said, they said it's justified. They are fighting us. That's why we cleanse them. And this is exactly the same methodology that happens by the state of Israel against Arabs and Palestinians. What they have done, they said it's justified. It's war. They are hitting us with these small rockets there. So we wipe all Gaza because that's what they have done. So that's why we need to understand. I will advise you, yeah, and I advise you, just what happened to your people, you shouldn't repeat it on others. And that is exactly what you are doing. When you are supporting a state like this, you are exactly failing into the same thing that you are condemning, which we all condemning what happened to that.
Your loyalty to your cause and your people shouldn't overrule or override your loyalty with humanity and justice. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
And this is your
been a long time
This is your
coming.
last turn, and we won't respond. We will
Yeah,
respond.
I was going to say
Very short.
Okay.
So let's finish it.
So-
we have to pray.
Thank you. Okay, so before we all break for Salah, because I have to pray as well. Inshallah, our prayers will be answered, and we'll bring peace.
Inshallah,
Wait.
our guide Joseph.
To the right
Joseph
path.
will take a shahada,
Inshallah, the brothers will take the Jewish shahada, and they'll join me in the
You
Jewish
won't
prayer for
accept
peace. 100. Adnan, we'd accept you tomorrow. Shema Israel, we'd accept you tomorrow.
Jewish. I will never become Jewish.
Okay. Anyway. So they've been bringing a rabbi. They've been bringing a rabbi called Moses Maimonides, the Rambam, and they've been using him as an example of how good it was to live under Islam. So I'm going to bring you how he described living under Islam.
You're going to read the letter again.
So God has entangled us with this people, the nation of Ishmael, who treat us prejudicially and who legislate our harm and hatred.
Okay,
No nation has ever arisen more harmful than they, nor has anyone done more to humiliate us, degrade us, and consolidate hatred against us. So this was Rambam in his own words. When he signed every letter, you said he lived in Egypt, yeah, which are right, he lived in Fustat. He signed every letter saying he wished he didn't live there. So it's all good and well to paint a revisionist history where you say Maimonides, who was forcefully converted, at least that's what many believe, he was forcefully converted to Islam, where everybody agrees he fled the Almohads and fled to Fustat, to another caliphate. And so everyone is in agreement with that. But when he comes to describing what it's like to live under Islam, he doesn't paint the same heavenly picture. He's not painting Jannah. He's painting something far... No, because I listened for a long time to you guys. So now you have to listen to me.
No, but
And so I'm going to speak really quickly.
Yeah, good.
The next point you said, why now? Why in 1948 did violence suddenly, and it was pre-1948, it was the 20s, 30s and 40s, but why were the Jews in Israel suddenly subject to violence? And it's one simple explanation. It was one simple explanation.
Yeah.
This was the first time. This is the first time that the Jews shook off the status of dhimmi. They were one of the dhimma. They were one of the people of the book.
Yeah.
They lived under Islam, and by Islamic standards, that meant they were protected. They were afforded certain equalities. And we started this conversation by saying the reason this conflict is in the news, the reason the whole world looks at this is because of religion, and I agree with you, Adnan. The reason why the Ummah is focused on this conflict over all the other ones with much greater death tolls is because of Haram al-Sharif, Masjid al-Aqsa, as we would call it, the Beit HaMikdash, Ha-Bayit. And so the difference between this conflict and the other conflicts is the Jews are no longer under the Muslim, but equal to the Muslim. And I believe, rightfully so, I believe we should be side by side. I shouldn't be under any caliph.
Okay.
I should be equal, or not me personally, but the Jews should be equal to the Jews should be equal.
Okay.
The final thing, and it looks like we haven't got time to do that, which is a real shame because you guys spoke for an awful long time,
we're trying to finish
is the
it,
equivalency between
we made our
Nazism
points
and
very
Zionism.
Yeah.
And so I decided this.
You made 2 points: Maimonides and equality, and Jews liberated themselves from dhimma.
The Jews liberated themselves. Almost all of the violence, whether it was the Nabi Musa riots, whether it was all instigated, whether it was the war, by the Arabs, by Jordanians, by Syrians, by Palestinians. And now my final point, The revision of Nazism is grotesque because Arab states and Arab leaders, be it the Iraqis, be it Haj Amin al-Husseini, literally collaborated with the Nazis. Broadcast on radios to try and encourage the slaughter of Jews, encourage the fight. Not we're responsible, but encourage the genocide of Jews in Europe. So when we look at what's happened around the world, there was an ethnic cleansing of Jews from the Muslim world. Over 1 million Jews used to live in the Muslim world. Over 850,000 Jews used to live in the Arab world. Today, more Jews live in Boreham Wood than the entire Arab world.
Because time has moved on, people have children.
But what?
Demographics change.
There's 3,000 Jews in the entire Arab world. That's not demographic. That's ethnic cleansing.
When?
Today.
When?
Today. There used to be over 850,000. There used to be.
Remind me you said
there used to be 800. So for the camera, so it's very clear.
Very interesting.
There used to be 850,000. There used to be 850,000 Jews in the Arab world. Today, there's less than 3,000. Most of them are in Morocco.
Okay.
The Jews.
You need to finish now.
Okay, I'll wrap up my point. When it comes to ethnic cleansing, when it comes to genocide, the Palestinian population has grown year on year. There are more Palestinians alive today than ever before in history. Yeah. In contrast, there are no Jews left in the Arab world, bar 3,000, basically all in Morocco. They've been ethnically cleansed and driven from their lands, which we lived in before the Islamic conquest.
Thank you. This is going to be my final point, and we're going to end after this.
Very respond by the to the
Don't worry about that. First point: Maimonides wrote what he read. Okay, and even if we believe the letter is authentic and was indeed written by Maimonides, okay, indeed, if we believe that the letter was actually written by Maimonides, then Maimonides is a plain liar. Let me explain why. No. Did I say any time that Maimonides is a truthful person? I was simply telling. Yeah, I never said. Yeah, Maimonides. Okay, was a Jewish rabbi, highly regarded by the Jewish people throughout the world, because he was a learned Jew who got his education in the Arabic language in Spain. He was learned because he was a Spanish Jew, having lived under Islam. You would agree with that, absolutely. So Islam gave him his education, or the Islamic domain. Islamic domain gave him that. So in other words, Maimonides got his top of the range education, Oxford, Cambridge put together in Islamic Spain, and he wrote in the Arabic language, in Hebrew characters. Even his book, famous book, A Guide to the Perplexed, was an amazing book on philosophy, where he defended the concept of God quite successfully. All of that given to Maimonides by the Muslims through a Muslim system in a Muslim domain. Okay, he agrees. But then he writes this letter that the worst time we have ever had is under these people. Hello? You just received top of the range. It's like me living in Britain. Please. Sheikh. Me living in Britain. I go to university here. I enjoy all the freedoms, all the privileges in this country. And I turn around and say, this is the worst place in the world. This is a really bad place. It's rubbish. I'm really oppressed. You would say to me, what the hell are you doing here? What the hell are you doing here? So I would be a liar. Britain has given us, we cannot thank Britain and the British people enough for all the freedoms we have here, all the education we have received, and all the good things. Okay, wait. Now, wait. Let me go. If the BNP comes to power, or the EDL comes to power now, and Allah forbid, God forbid, and they start brutalizing Muslims, as you know they are a bunch of Islamophobes, funded by the State of Israel, amazingly, okay, if they come to power and they start brutalizing us, okay, have I got a right to say that my experience throughout the British history was evil? Wait, brother, please.
Are you saying on camera? He's saying the state of Israel.
Yes, I am saying on camera again. The Zionists were funding Tommy Robinson. Tommy
state of
Robinson.
Israel.
I'll pull out.
Okay.
So who are the Zionists?
The state of Israel, the government of Israel.
Yes.
Please show us your source, Adnan.
Think tanks.
No, you said the state of Israel.
Let me finish. Zionist think tanks.
That's not what you
Zionist
said.
think tanks
That's
were
not what
funding
you-
Tommy Robinson.
that's not what you said, Adnan. It's on camera.
So who is funding these Zionist think tanks? Who's funding them?
The state doesn't fund Zionist think
Okay,
tanks. I'm a
okay.
Zionist.